guys, Dennis here with another episode of Drum Talk. Today I like to put all the hardware stuff aside and I'm going to show you how I do some woodworking. To be closer, I will modify two toms I recently got from a customer. It's a 10 and a 12 inch and both of these need to be shortened to about 2 inch shorter. So today's topic is how I like to manage something like this. And in the first step, obviously, it's necessary to get to the shell, so I'll remove all the hardware parts. Let's do that. Alright, since all the hardware is removed, we can make some thoughts about how we're gonna cut this shell. There are more ways to do this. The easy way is to cut only the bottom side and we do the bearing edge on one side. The more complicated way is to do a cut on both sides. Obviously it depends on how low you want to go, because not all lengths are possible to redo on a already drilled shell. If you don't want to drill any extra holes or cover some holes. So the way I like to do this is to at least reuse one of the inner holes for the as the new top hole of the luck. In this case we want to cut each shell at about 2 inches. So for that I want to measure the distance, the original distance from the bearing edge to the center of the top hole, which is here about 32 to 33 millimeters. Now I will mark where my new bearing edge will be. So 2 inch below would be here. And now let's see where we are if we would cut it exactly 2 inches. The new distance from a new top hole would be at about 31 to 32 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I will not cut exactly 2 inches. I will cut a little bit less than 2. The cool thing is that I can reuse the bottom hole as my new top hole without any problems. I will keep the original design and the whole effort is way less. So yeah, let's do that. This is Billy, my circular saw, and the next step I'm going to set it up to cut the shell. Alright, we got a solid, smooth, clean, flat cut on both shells. You maybe wondered why I put some sticks underneath the shell, why I did the cutting rotation, and it is just to get some more space in between the shell and the saw plate, to have a smooth, even surface for the rotation, because otherwise the air vent and the badges, which are not that easy to remove, would just make it uneven, and so the cut would be a totally mess. Yeah, the next step is going to be the bearing edges, or let's say reconstructing the bearing edge on the bottom side. On these shells they have a pretty standard 45-degree cut, which is more on the flat side on the top. So I'm going to repeat this on the bottom side, which we just cut. At the moment it's totally flat, obviously. So I will just start with cutting the inside 45 degrees on my router. And then I will do a slightly countercut before I even out the bearing edges with my sandpaper plate. Yeah, let's do it! Okay, the bearing edges are done. In the last step after sanding it down, I used some wax to protect the bearing edges and the wood in the long terms. And yeah, before I can it put together and see if everything works, I hope so, it's necessary to drill the bottom holes of the lugs. The holes are in, so let's make it a tom again. Unfortunately, my camera battery died halfway through the assembly, so I wasn't able to show you all of it. But the only thing you missed is watching me putting the drum heads back on and the hoops. So yeah, that's the final result. I went from 10 by 9 to 10 by 7 inch and from 12 by 10 to 12 by 8 inch. So both lost almost an inch. And especially on the 10 inch it was the lowest option possible, because if I would have cut it any lower, both lugs would have a problem during the final assembly. That's how I like to modify toms and especially shorten them. As usual, if you have any questions, ideas, feel free to write me an email on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you prefer, or even down in the comments. Hope to see you soon to another video. Cheers!